Khash Saghafi, Liberty Home Mortgage. And here's a question I get all the time. How much money do I need? So when you're buying a home, and I've done a ton of videos on these, but I'm repeating some of them too a lot because you need to, okay? How much money do you need to buy a house? You get an estimate of the dollar figure up front for the loan officer. I have videos that go into much more detail, but here's the basics. You need your down payment, write that down. Number one, down payment. Write down number two, closing cost. Okay, that's number two. Number three, write this down, your escrows. Escrows are money which is needed to pay future property taxes and homeowners insurance. I go into much more detail on other videos also, or you can just call me for goodness sake, okay? That's three. And number four, you need money for a home inspection, if you choose to get one, a home appraisal. You have to prepay for 1 year of your homeowner's insurance. So that's your fourth piece of money. You get an estimate up front when you go into contract on a house. Even when you're getting pre-approved, when you get pre-approved, the loan officer should say, whip out a pen and paper and write this stuff down. And I've had some people say, well, Hesh, I'm going to type it on my phone. You can write it on the walls if you feel like it, okay? But you get an estimate up front, and then the day before or the morning of, that's when you're given the final dollar figure to close. Now, depending on what state you're closing in, some states require the money to be wired. Some, you can get a cashier's check from the bank. But ultimately, you wait until you get the final dollar figure from the title company, and that's the final dollar figure. Everything up until that point is simply estimated. Again, it's the down payment, it's the closing cost, it's the escrows, and then it's the inspection, the insurance on the house, and the appraisal. Now, again, if you're buying, manufactured home, those need, for example, a structural engineer inspection, which is not the home inspection, and that's not the appraisal. That's a separate inspection. If you're going with a VA loan, you additionally need a pest inspection. There could be points on the interest rate. That's an additional fee. Now, I have videos on where the seller pays the closing costs and things like that. So I have other videos that break down exactly how else that can be divided up. But that's the gist and the basics of how much money you need to buy a house. Make sure you're subscribing to my videos. Pay attention to these, write down some notes, ask me questions, and call me if you need a loan. Pretty easy to get a hold of and licensed in 45 states.